live here. If you're hearing this, this is a recording. Thank you for listening. If you're joining in live in a little bit, you won't be hearing this. So there you have it. I'm John Ford. This is Brace for Impact. I'm here with the rest of Organize Your Better Tomorrow. We've been having pre-call. It went on a little longer than usual. It is rough out there right now, folks. I feel like that's the thing that needs to get said, because I think everyone on our team, including stuff at home, just everyone is really feeling everything going wrong at once. So if you're feeling overwhelmed and like out of control with everything, that means congratulations, you still have the empathy portion of your brain functional, which right now is quite the achievement. So because as we're seeing, there's just a reduction in people caring about everything. We've been too conditioned to like accept untimely death as normal in the last few years. And it's when you throw war in there and you see what's going on in Iran and Palestine and the entire regions, getting bombed because we started a war. Not war. You want to make jokes about how they're calling it not a war, but I also feel like it's now so serious that it's not like really funny to joke about. Like, it's gotten to the point now where it's like, this is extremely serious, and like escalation is happening, and Iran was extremely prepared. So what's the escalation? And that makes a lot of sense. In the meantime, we're still trying to keep things going on. Like, we're not going to start dropping nukes and putting ourselves at risk, which means we got VRPAC and ACIP coming up. I know it's quite a pivot, everyone. That's right, Jesse. That was the pivot of all pivots, from one illegitimate problem to another illegitimate problem. The VRPAC people are still mostly, like, a lot of them are leaving, so I don't know who the new people are going to be, but they never really got overhauled by RFK, so it's most of the same. And they're like the people, for the most part, that are the best at it. So like removing them doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But we put in another presentation that I actually did. I did that. I felt like a big boy, everyone. As far as team, we usually work on them as a team. But last night I sort of put it off till very, very late in the morning, and I put the thing together in about 4 or 5 hours. And I felt like I was like all on my own tonight, folks. Naturally, there were a ton of mistakes. Naturally, there were mistakes, but we got the new copy in, and basically it's just advocating for improved influenza vaccines and trying to get Matrix M and into things, and talking about how the big thing is that I think the Moderna thing really showed that the idea of a standard dose was set like 50 years ago, and it's too low of a response. We can do better than that now. So I'm basically primarily advocating for improvement in that language, so that we're now setting a higher expectation for quality of protection of response. This idea that like protective enough, but not, fully protective. I hate it so much. So I'm really, really advocating for that. And I do think we're going to see some interesting data at VRPAC that from a couple of the companies that have combo flu vaccines for influenza and COVID, which I don't really want myself personally. I don't think they're a good idea, because if it's a COVID and flu vaccine for a seasonal period that COVID is not in, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Getting the extra flu vaccine, or the extra in the COVID vaccine for the summertime, that might be better, because we run into this problem with memory responses. But I covered all this in the presentation, and it came out all right. I'm pretty happy with it. You did black and green this time. Looks different than my other ones, but I'm happy with it. I know Biff did help, to be honest. Biff was a big reason he helped me put the bones together, so it wasn't completely on my own. But shout out to everyone who wants things to get better or wants things to improve. We are still trying. I don't really know. I don't think anyone has a good answer on what to deal with Trump right now, because of just how... I mean, first off, you only got like 3 good hours of the day to try to even talk to the guy. And then Pete Hegseth is... I need a new word for embarrassment. Can we get out like a
Thesaurus.
Yeah, thesaurus, and look up different words for embarrassment until we find the one that is Pete Hegseth. Or we could start calling things that are an embarrassment. God, you're such a Pete Hegseth.
Oh, right. Just replace embarrassment.
Just replace embarrassment with Pete. Yeah, yeah. I just feel like they might get convinced and think I'm calling them a Nazi. You know?
Yeah.
might get mixed up. That I could see that very well happening.
Yeah, his name can be used in multiple contexts.
Yeah. God, man, I've never. The thing, like, I would focus more on how stupid they all are if it wasn't so evil at the moment that the evil takes priority, because we know for a fact now that we bombed the Iranian school. Americans double tapped the Iranian girls' school 30 minutes apart, which is the
video evidence.
We have video evidence of it getting hit with tomahawks. America is the only place that has tomahawks, and tomahawks don't accidentally hit things twice.
Yeah, and Trump said, did you hear what Trump said today about the tomahawks?
No.
Many nations, we make them, but many nations can buy them. So we really don't know.
I don't think that's true. I don't think we sell tomahawks.
I don't think it's true. I don't think it's true. And if we did, wouldn't he know? Wouldn't they know?
He might not. He thought Greenland was really big.
I don't think it's true. I mean, that's from everything I've been reading. That was like the telltale sign.
I've seen a lot. Yeah, exactly. I've seen a lot of people that are more experts on military stuff being like, all of these other countries that are in the war do not have tomahawks. And then the big one also is that there was some of the allies of Israel and America have been getting hit by rockets and bombs that are distinctly coming from Israel. So Israel is also bombing allies to try to make it look like Iran is bombing. Yeah, they're doing a whole bunch of places, and that would be like, some kind of weird, like, conspiracy theory. But we have videos of because geographically, if something's coming from a certain direction, it can only come from a certain direction. If it's coming over water, so I can't remember what the actual logic was at the thing. Like, it could only come from Israel, where that rocket came from. And so we're seeing more and more of that, and like disguised, like they're trying to look like the Iranian drones. Like it's like a very thought out. But then the head of Mossad got taken out, and I heard Netanyahu's brother got taken out, which is pretty intense. I don't even think Netanyahu is in Israel right now, right? I know his son's in Miami.
Yeah, he's been flying all over the place. So I don't know where he actually is right now.
I think that's part of the whole plan, right? It's like, how do you deal with a guy if you don't know where he is? But it's just gotten. I feel like Iran did not come to play. They had a lot of time to wait. What did someone say to me? The Persians created chess, so like they know what they're doing.
They were extremely patient, and they told everyone what they would do.
Right.
They told the world what they were going to do if they were attacked. They were attacked the first time in June during the 12-day war. They were attacked in the middle of a nuclear negotiation, which was like a ruse. It was like a trick. It was a dirty trick.
Yeah.
And we went ahead and did that again.
Yeah.
When there's a lot of evidence that a better deal was on the table, and then they kind of just ignored the whole nuclear angle of it. Until today, now Trump's lying and saying that Steve Witkoff was told that they had planned on continuing. They're not going to stop making nuclear weapons. They're not even making nuclear weapons. We know that. Trump's
they're just saying it's yellow cake uranium again. With
Trump's intelligence. That's a weird statement.
Yeah, that was a funny. Those words don't go together. That's not right.
Yeah, his own administration says that they weren't.
Right. Yeah, I remember a report came out like a couple of days afterwards, being like, "No, they're not. They're not doing that. I don't know what you're talking about."
And then he said we obliterated it in June, and I saw wasn't funny, but over the weekend they were talking on one of the mainstream Sunday shows with the spokesman for the IDF, and I couldn't believe it. The guy said he was asked about, if Trump obliterated the program, and he said, if President Trump said we obliterated the program, then it is so. I was like, what? And then he sort of laughed, and he kind of like trailed off into something else. But it was like,
Weird.
whoa.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
That's so. I was looking at that interview, just being like, okay.
He was like, I know, we really damaged it. He said that, but like, even that was his instinct.
Yeah, weird. Yeah, no, the whole thing's been super, super weird. I think, and that it just is a horribly thought out narcissists coming together thinking that they can like do something. I feel like the whole Venezuela thing made them super emboldened to be like, oh, we did that, but like, and it was a pretty impressive feat how they got the soldiers in and got the soldiers out. But I heard, and this is where we are with this, that I feel like you don't really know. We hear things, we don't know what's real or what's state propaganda from either side. Apparently, like, I heard a report that like 120 Delta Force related people got caught at the border trying to like sneak into the country, which would be typical behavior. But also, the one thing that I do know is real, that's pretty wild, is the messages. Did you hear about the text messages that were sent to all the Israelis from Iran, saying we have destroyed your launch capabilities and no shelter is safe, leave the country? Like,
no,
they sent the text messages that the Israelis have been sending to the Palestinians. The exact same thing. I sent it to all of them, being like, "Get the hell out of the country right now. You have no safety. Nothing can keep you safe." Like, it's pretty intense language. I think it's silly though that also when you talk about Iran and nuclear weapons, because when you think about nuclear weapons in America, we didn't really know what nuclear weapons could really, really do. Like, we knew we had done testing. We knew were very destructive. But we didn't understand like the long term outcomes of it. And like, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense for Iran to nuke something in its backyard. You know what I mean? Like, would DC nuke Colorado? I don't know how far these things are, probably further away.
Oh, you mean for Israel?
Yeah,
Israel?
Yeah, for Israel to get nuked by Iran. For Iran to have nuclear missiles, the fear is that they would nuke Israel. But the thing is like, they don't need to nuke Israel. We have weapons now. Like, have you seen these rockets that they're using that break into like 80 other rockets, and each one is like super destructive? The interceptor takes out the original core, and they just hit, and that's what's causing all this destruction.
Massive devastation without like salting the earth with a nuclear weapon.
Yeah, well, I'm sure there's still stuff in there that's bad, but yeah, exactly. They don't want to salt the earth because like the wind blows, man. Like, you're just gonna blow whatever back at you. You know what I mean? They're not geographically that far from each other. So the idea that like they could do that and it would all be like a real concern, it has never made any sense to me. It would just be completely the wrong approach, especially with how, like, when you think about the volume of people, like, if Iran really wanted to put together like a boots on the ground force to go attack Israel and like put boots on the ground there, they have more than enough people. That's not even close. That's why there's all the American battle groups all over the region to prevent a large force from moving like that. But they just destroyed all of our radar, which that is like, we were talking about. And I feel like with COVID related stuff, sorry, weird switch. With COVID, we talk about how like the world really changed after COVID. Like, the world pre-COVID is never coming back, no matter how much people try to think it will. It's not, because everyone's brains have been screwed up by COVID, and that's what happens. But I feel like this mishandling of the war at the start and Iran's complete preparation to take out our missile defense systems and these huge, radar networks, like, it took us a long time to build those networks. It took, like, we're not going to be able to replace them. Somebody was saying how some of the stuff they use in this, we can't even get anymore. Like, there's resource issues with actually rebuilding some of this stuff. And maybe we'll have, like, new versions of it that are better after that. The world that we knew is gone. Like, the world that we knew, the Middle East is completely been remapped in just a few days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was.
hotel rooms in Dubai for $9 a night. But you can't get there and you can't get out of there because
Right.
there's no flights in or out. But
Right.
and that's how much things have changed.
Yeah, and so there's just going to be more like of this, and I'm just afraid the problem with Hegseth and Trump is they just kind of just escalate, and even like using a Moab, which is the mother of all bombs, and he used one in Afghanistan to destroy the Afghani tunnels that we built, but it destroyed like an entire valley, and like even that going to those scale weapons would be, I feel like, put the similar targets on America. Like we talk about nukes, but like general missiles have gotten so powerful that you don't like the stuff we're giving to Israel and they've been using in Gaza is like small potatoes compared to what we actually have, and we don't even know what China has, and we're getting a glimpse of what Iran has, and it's. I mean, and then we haven't even entered like the drone era of the conflict because like what happens when China launches like 1 million drones with their better AI systems?
If it gets to that,
Yeah. Well, what's stopping them? We already know that our systems are completely incapable of capturing paper drones.
Iran has said like in the past couple of days that they kind of haven't even gotten to their newer stuff yet. Like they were going through all their old weapons first.
That's tough to say because some of those weapons look pretty new. But again, you're back to what's state propaganda and what's not. We have now propaganda coming from both sides, and it's like super hard to tell what is actually real or not. It's just so hard. We're not getting the really clear. Like I'll give this with the Ukraine war. We've had very clear footage from the different soldiers on the ground doing their stuff because they basically have to fundraise to stay alive. So we've gotten a lot of clear imagery of like what's occurring and how it's happening. But this is all just happening kind of now. And it's just really hard to tell. We're not going to know a lot of things for a while. Especially since there's more of like a secretiveness on both sides of this war. There's like more spy stuff going on.
Yeah, a lot of things are being said strategically.
Right.
I mean, coming out of the, Trump administration, it just could be just pure stupidity. Like, you don't really know.
Well, it's pure stupidity. That's the whole thing. I mean, you start there with your baseline and then work backwards. Just, and all
overall, during war, it's strategic statements being put out to kind of like goad the other side or scare the other side or,
And all this to cover up that Trump is a pedophile.
Seems to have happened all the same time.
I'm sure it's a coincidence, right?
Where are those aliens when you need them?
Oh my God, take me to your leader. Just never sounded so refreshing.
Can't they come and liberate us already?
It's serious. It's like, well, normally I wouldn't call him my leader, but in this case, he's over there. It's it's like there's an asteroid coming, is there? Giant meteor 2026. Oh my God, those bumper stickers were amazing, and now it just feels real. Yeah, so watch out with the propaganda. Watch out getting take everything with like if you're listening to this, take everything with a little bit of grain of salt, because all the same, if you're like a COVID conscious person, all the same propaganda we see against COVID is the same, much worse, like 10 times that we're going to see for war. I think we're entering into because I feel like also like we're in an illegal war. So, like, the right-wing, like, bot farms are going to be working overtime to make it a not illegal war in the minds of the public, because you can make anything legal if no one wants to hold you accountable for it. So it's, yeah. But at the same time, we also got to, like, kind of keep on chugging along. And people are like, do I still go to work? I'm like, I think you do. We're still trying to get pediatric Novavax approved. There's been some, like, holdups. But Sanofi took over the studies, and But now, also speaking of which, because we're talking about regulatory processes, our friend Vinay Prasad is having a sequel of sorts, in that he is leaving the agency for a second time, which I feel like has got to be some kind of record, right? Like twice in a year.
So in the war, there's the second coming that everyone's waiting for. Well,
oh my God.
Waiting for. But in this case, it's the second leaving.
There is a lot of people right now making videos about how they think Jesus is coming back because of we're bombing Tehran.
We're telling the troops that.
Yeah, I feel like it reminds me a lot of the people who were saying there was another secret Stranger Things episode coming. You know, like I feel like there's. It reminds me of like people saying restore the Snyderverse. They're just like none of this is real. It's not. And if Jesus were coming back, and that all were true, I think Jesus would be a little disappointed in everybody. I'm just saying. I think they might have missed a couple of readings in some of the points he was always trying to make.
What I never understood about the religious prophecy stuff is like, if you're actively working to make something happen, isn't that kind of like cheating? Like you're cheating towards the goal of your book that you like. Doesn't seem.
Okay, so like the thing is I think that like Iran has oil, and you know there's a lot of resources, and there's all kinds of stuff going on there, and we want it. And so we have been using the Christian right to just make it seem like for now multiple generations of people that this was an important thing that needed to happen. And basically, it's basically the exact same argument as the Crusades. It is effectively the argument made for the Crusades. You know, we need to go control the Holy Land. But really, it's about resources. So if you guys don't know, the Holy Land and all that stuff was about trade routes. So that's like all close to Palestine and all that sort of stuff, because the way the trade routes go around the water, if you look at that, that's why Palestine was like the incense capital of the world, because they were in a crucial trade route that everybody always wanted to control, because whoever controlled the trade route controlled money and blah 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 blah. And it's always about trade routes. Why do we disable Libya and all these other countries? Well, they're all on the ocean side, so they could charge us for like boats if they have a functional
We don't want to
navy.
pay.
Yeah, we don't want to pay. If they have a functional navy, they can tax us.
Yeah. And the West's goal has always been to control Iran's oil. That's what the coup was about, that we performed and helped put in the Shah for.
It's the Strait of
whatever
Hormuz. It's the Strait of Hormuz.
Right.
It's the Strait of Hormuz.
And even Lindsey Graham said the other day, once this is over, we're gonna be really rich or something. We're gonna have a ton of money. I forget the exact quote, but I was surprised to hear him.
He said a couple of things that were totally unhinged lately. I just feel like they feel like there's this thing with Epstein, because they're the Epstein gang. There's this thing with Epstein where he was doing all this super evil, awful, illegal shit, totally inhumane at every level, and he's just talking about it in emails, just sending it back and forth, and no one's doing anything. And because they're all emboldened right now that they feel like they're invincible. So like Lindsey Graham feels like he's invincible right now, saying how he's like committing treason to help the Israeli government. Like they've come out like the mask is off. Speaking of which, I did have masking commentary on here. It's kind of funny I keep making mask references, but I really want to talk about people being like, how have people not learned that you need to mask? After 6 years, they're like, you still need to wear masks, guys. He's like, as a matter of fact, I could really use for some of these evil people to put their mask back on.
Yeah.
You know, man.
Lindsey Graham, put your mask back on. And in fact, everybody else put your masks back on too.
Yeah, figuratively and literally. Because I feel like when we said everyone should take their masks off, I think people might have misinterpreted what we meant. They just meant the COVID protection mask, not you're hiding you're an evil person from society, because now they're just telling us.
The world is a safer place with masks on all around.
Honestly, it's a tough to pull off the Band-Aid, but it's probably important that we actually see who these people really are, and it would be nice if we could actually do something to hold them accountable, which is, I mean, that's where we are with it. I feel like it's all going to come down to who gets elected in primaries right now.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I feel like the primaries, which are going really well for left-leaning people, not perfect, but well, They're really going to decide what happens here, because we have to have enough young, inspiring candidates that speak to millennials and Gen Z and all these other people, so that we can actually hold people accountable and have people excited to go out and vote by the midterms. Because the best way to rig the election is just to convince everybody not to vote.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm always fighting with these leftists online because they're like, everything that goes a little wrong, they're like, oh, this is why we can't do this. See, look how evil it's. Yeah, of course they are. That's why we're trying to get rid of them. Well, we're not getting rid of them. They keep winning elections. Yeah, because people like you who have a problem with it keep making it harder for us to get people together to change anything. If you're constantly telling people it doesn't work, how do you expect there to be resistance? Like, I can't believe this. Like, there's no way that this gets intentionally lost on people if they don't understand that you have to be consistent. Like, politics is like a music instrument. You have to work on it every day. And if you decide not to work on it on days, know that there are really evil people who don't think like you who will work on it every day. That's the thing that, like, they're like, well, I need a break, I need time off, I need the thing, not deal with it. You're like, no, you need it to be a part of your life where, like, the bad people understand this. Why can't the people who claim they're good understand it?
Or enough people involved that people can take a break here and there because there are enough people involved.
Yeah, that would be nice.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
But the right wing doesn't sleep, you know what I mean? They keep going all day long. I'm not saying you have to sacrifice what you believe in, but we're definitely seeing the outcome of, you know, voters not being inspired, because we ran a really uninspired campaign last season, and now we have to deal with all of this. Now we're literally in a world war because the Democrats couldn't have a fair... Well, to be honest, you can't really blame the Democrats. It was really just the White House, to be fair. The transition from Harris to DNC delegates was all coordinated by the campaign manager who worked in the White House, and they were doing it to think about protecting their jobs. They, you know, because if they ran an open, real primary like we were all trying to get them to, which we talked about regularly on the show at the time, then there was a risk that she might not be the campaign manager anymore. So really, we're here because the campaign manager for Biden wanted to keep her campaign manager job and maybe keep her White House job. So she, you know, pulled all the strings to flip it directly to the VP, which isn't the craziest idea. That's not like the totally unhinged to do. It's just, you know, not what is good for getting people out to vote.
And
Yeah.
Harris was obviously listening to people who told her it was fine to just skate right through and change nothing. Like, don't worry, he's so horrible. You'll skate through, and you won't have to change a thing of Biden's policies.
Right. Yeah, that was...
I think
that was
those people.
Well, we really lost track of that Biden's policies were unpopular, and one of the things we were talking about was how if all the people who were protesting over Palestine were the people he needed to be out volunteering for him. So I didn't understand how he was going to be able to get the people who were saying they literally hate him to come out and support him in the thing. Like, how do you make that transition? So when he had his really bad night where he's just like, oh my God, the point wasn't removing him because of how bad his performance was. The point of removing him was that his policies were so unpopular that he could not fix his relationship while having these episodes. So he was only going to lose support. He couldn't regain the support. It wasn't about him that's like where people lost it. It wasn't that he had grandpa moment. It was that the grandpa moments would prevent him from fixing the problem he was having. And the problem was his policies. And so when he kept all those policies to the next candidate, it's the same candidate. You didn't make a change.
It was the same administration. Like, all the same people were going to be probably transferred over to the Harris administration.
Right. And people were like, I don't want to vote for this.
Yeah.
And then people go, well, how'd that work out for you? And they go, I didn't vote for it. My conscience is clear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You have to give people something to vote for to the point where enough people come out and just overwhelm the vote. And not enough people vote.
You don't even need a majority. You just need a, what's it called? A
Plurality?
Plurality. And that's like where, like, the corporatists keep us all split up enough because that makes the actual majority a plurality, which is less than 50%. Which means you got like 30 to like percent of the people roughly controlling everything, but 70% of it that would just have to organize itself, and all they have to do is keep us in a culture war, and we can't have our class war. So,
And keep corporations running the show.
well, I do feel like there's more conversations of people being like, "It's the billionaires." Like, it's the billionaires. The problem is the billionaires. Because
People have been waking up for a long time, it feels like.
I feel like the problem is that you inevitably, when you have this much money, there just comes a point when you start spending money in politics to make more money, and that you control regulations to get, tax breaks or loopholes or whatever. It's an inevitable thing that happens. So this is like the reason that we shouldn't allow billionaires, like caps at 1 billion kind of thing. Like, you know what I mean? You should have really high tax rates over that. Like, and they'll keep their money in stock. Like, keep in mind, a lot of these people don't have like $1 billion in cash in hand. They have billions in assets that are all investing and making more money. So even the idea of like taxing someone who has $1 billion isn't really like a real thing you can do that way. So you got to be more creative with it. And you got to prevent, like, you got to make it that, and that's why we had like systems for them to invest in the communities they made the money on. That way, it kind of like create a circle where the community saw a benefit from them amassing that much money, which I feel like we've really lost touch with. I don't know. I feel like it's amassing that much money is like a mental illness. Like, I think Melinda Gates has the right idea. She got all that money and she's just... Oh, not Melinda Gates. Well, she is also giving away money, but I mean, God, what's her name? Bezos' ex-wife. Who was just giving away all the money.
Oh, it's not Gates' wife?
It's Bezos' ex-wife. I cannot remember
I guess
her
I
name.
don't know.
Mackenzie Scott.
Thank you.
Ah.
Yeah, Mackenzie Scott. She's been donating just ridiculous amounts of money to nonprofits. Keep in mind, the money she has is making money. So it creates that they are like, you're giving away chunks of it, but you're also giving away the interest you're accruing. So it's like one of these things of like, it becomes like a bottomless pit of being able to donate large sums of money to groups as it matures.
That's nice of her, but she's in the minority of these sociopathic billionaires.
Well, it's always the wives. It's always the wives. Yeah. They're always the ones that are like, okay, I'm giving away all your money now to charities you hate.
She saw behind the curtain and she didn't like what she saw.
Yeah, I think he was cheating on her or something, or I can't remember what it was.
I don't know. I'm just saying that.
I don't remember why they broke up. I remember why Bill and Melinda Gates broke up because there's been a bit of something about drugging your wife with STD drugs.
Oh yeah.
I could see that being unpopular.
It doesn't encourage trust in a relationship.
No. No, on a couple of really serious levels. Yeah, it's yeah, wow. Does not endure trust is definitely one way to put it. Yeah, so we do have just a little bit of a pivot. We do have the VRPAC and ACIP coming up. VRPAC is just influenza. ACIP is going to be illegitimate, number one, but it's going to be an absolute shit show. Supposedly, they're going to be covering long COVID and vaccine injury. And if there's one single thing that we get out of this, I'll call it a W. But they're going to minimize the crap out of COVID and long COVID. They're going to maximize the risk of whatever from the vaccines, which just get Novavax and solve the problem. Which is why we need pediatric Novavax. If they're so afraid of the spike and they're going to allow pediatric COVID vaccines, then we need one that doesn't have that spike risk that they keep talking about. Like, it's pretty straightforward. So, that's an argument for ACIP. Definitely to be made. But if the one thing that I get out of this is that they draw a distinction between vaccine injury and long COVID, and I will call it a W, because we have so many of those idiots who pop online who are like, oh, it's the vaccine, when were you vaccinated? It's the vaccine. To hear their, like, idiots in chief explain the distinction between the two, and it's like canon for them, I would call that a big win because those guys are really annoying, and I think they really undermine their risk. Because inevitably you have to say, okay, so COVID does have risks, right? You're saying COVID has risks. Getting infected has risks. Getting them to say that is really tricky. When we were reading Vinay Prasad's email he wrote, which it reminded me of like, I was gonna make a Unabomber joke, but I feel like that's mean to the Unabomber. It was, sentences literally didn't even make sense. Like, stuff he was saying just didn't make sense. Like, he's just making these arguments. Like, I don't think I've ever seen, like, if I got that in my email and he wrote this, like, book. First off, it's like a book. It's, like, enormous. He asserts all of these things without evidence. He does assert a lot of things with evidence. I'll give him credit where credit's due. He does have evidence for some things, but a lot of it, he's just like, it's underreported. It's a lot of trust me, bro. And I'm grateful that he approved Novavax's BLA. On the other hand, I am really happy to see him go a second time. So happy I got to see it twice, right? Yeah, man, just what a I don't even know what the right word is. Like, we need new words for how bad it is. Oh, yeah, I know it is. He Hegseth. He's very Hegseth. Is that what we're doing now, Jesse?
Yeah. That context was almost like jump the shark. Like, he Hegseth. I don't know. It seems like it could be used in multiple different contexts, the Hegseth.
Yeah. He Hegseth it. You're like, so he's a Nazi. And you're like, no. He's just a dumbass. And you're like, oh, okay,
yeah.
So he's a Nazi
Yeah.
dumbass. You're like, no, I don't, never mind.
It boils down to a general insult, I think.
Thanks for clearing that up. Have you seen the Saturday Night Live of Hegseth, the guy who's married to Scarlett Johansson, who does the late night update? He's been doing peak Hegseth interviews or impressions that is just like, it's gotten so good. They're so good. Like, if we were doing a video show, I'd be showing them like to watch. They're so funny. A lot of people have beefs with Saturday Night Live for one thing or another. They're always, the kids say stupid things, but I feel like the Hegseth impression has just been so good. So good.
I'll have to check it out.
It's just like when we're like, so I just feel like we're at this place so where it's kind of getting harder and harder to make jokes about it, because you're like, so you had Israel blow up a gasoline depot so that gasoline on fire flowed the streets of Tehran, creating toxic rain that was raining down black oil on people.
Yeah.
Super carcinogen, worst possible. And America, apparently, I heard this report, I don't know again what's propaganda was, is mad at Israel because they think it will make everyone hate them.
Too late for that.
And I'm like, you assassinated a guy called the Supreme Leader. You don't think they're mad about that? You don't think they're like, you killed their Pope and are like,
we're bombing this.
Can we be friends?
That doesn't make friends. Nobody wants to be bombed. Like, that is not a way to make friends.
Yeah, I've heard that. That's
he cemented the deal here.
They should have that as like a day in preschool. Sending bombs to your friends is bad. You're like, yes, that should be kind of a known fact. Somehow it's not, though.
If you want people to like you, don't kill them.
Yeah, right. That's the thing that's getting me too. Is like, we just keep like, Israel's killing people all over the Middle East right now in like neighboring countries, and it's just like there's such a like they're just destroying history. It's such a colonist bullshit. They're killing people who are like historic to regions who know everything about it, and they're just taking that away from everyone. They're just stealing at such a complex level, stealing culture from everyone. whether or not they take it for themselves is indifferent for the fact that they're preventing other people from having it. Like, and that just, it really bothers me.
You saw the thing the other day where the Spanish, the head of the Spain, basically came forward and said, "You're not going to use our bases."
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah,
That was good. Like, why can't other countries do that? Why don't they join together and say no?
because they're afraid
We're
they'll
not
be
gonna
next.
participate in your war of aggression.
I want to know if there's one thing, like, you go to the pearly gates. I'm not really a God person. You go to the pearly gates, you ask God one question. I want to know what Netanyahu has on everyone. Like, what the hell does this guy got on everyone that he's like, they all just kiss his ass all day? Like, what is going on here?
Yeah. These countries are either scared of that or scared of Israel, or they're scared of us and our bases and our military.
I don't know.
So, but this isn't going to last very much longer.
I don't understand, like, what is going on that they're holding so much power over all this stuff. And at least, on the upside, the one thing I'll take away from this is that, like, if you were to, like, say 6 months ago or 2 years ago or whatever, like, oh, well, I heard Lindsey Graham worked with Netanyahu to coach him how to talk to Trump into invading Iran, that would be like an anti-Semitic slur. You know what I mean? You'd be making some sort of like, wow, that's really screwed up, Don. Why would you say that? But then we have Lindsey Graham saying that's what he actually did. Which Lindsey Graham, something has come unhinged in Lindsey Graham in the last 2 months, I want to say. Like, he is just like...
Yeah. And Rubio saying that for that one day, saying that we had to attack because we knew Israel was going to attack them.
Yeah, they haven't put him in front of a mic since then.
He's the Secretary of State. And he's openly saying that Israel pushed us into it. Or what is he saying?
Yeah,
it's definitely not an imminent threat that you say that your ally is going to start a war, so you have to start it first.
Yeah, I gotta say that makes very little sense to me.
Yeah.
Like, the more I hear it, the less I go, oh, okay. The more I go, what? That doesn't make any sense at all. It doesn't make any sense. What are you talking about? They're like, we did it. They're all dead already. And you're like, okay, we definitely need to do something here. And this is where you're back to, like, the only thing we can do is impeach people. Only thing we can do is flip Congress and the Senate by a margin. And I think the voters are there right now. I think, like, progressive left-leaning voters are always like, well, I won't vote for this candidate, I won't vote for the candidate. It doesn't matter. Because the Republicans are now voting for Democrats. And left-leaning Democrats. So, didn't really see that coming, to be honest with you. I was really surprised with all the results coming in.
They're not going to vote for Chuck Schumer or Hakeem Jeffries Democrats. They're going to vote for ones that are talking, speaking out against the war and not funding, Israel's war, that kind of thing.
Right, yeah. And so, we're going to see more and more of these people replaced, and, like, this is just what needs to happen. It's the only thing that can happen. And, it has come down to, like, the voters coming out and saying, hey, we're not going to be propagandized on these issues anymore, which is, again, extremely tough. So, but I think they've, like, doing all this evil stuff, it's sort of like, these guys are never very good at, like, what's their equilibrium? Like, what's the balance that keeps it all kind of working? And they just seem to be, like, whatever it is to just throw a wrench in it. And, oh, it broke. And you're like, yeah, well, now it's broken and all the soldiers are dead and we lost our radar. Like, okay, we'll build new radar. That'll take, like, 10 years.
Mm-hmm. And they're the ones who broke it.
Yeah, these are not, like, systems you can quickly replace. So it's, we don't have, like, backups ready to go or anything. We probably have one or two, but, like, not, like, the 10 that got destroyed or whatever. I think it's 9.
Like the THAAD?
Yeah, the THAAD.
Yeah.
There's another one that has a similar name. So it's just been, like,
Yeah, those are multi-million-dollar, like...
Yeah. Using rare minerals and all sorts of stuff. Like, it's a whole thing. It's not like a light deal. It's something we can just casually do.
And again, we don't have health care here.
What's healthcare? Healthcare? We don't even have health or care, let alone healthcare together. You know, I think that's like the other problem too. You're like, the escalation of everything is like, how close are we to like America making itself a target? Like these guys now have missiles that hit all sorts of stuff. And they've shown that the Iron Dome and the interceptors aren't really prepared to handle it. So how close are we to like 1 million drones from China or something? How close are we to escalating further so that we put a target on Americans at home? And I feel like this is something we need to really. We have this sense of like, oh, we're so safe, and oh, we're so under control, and oh, we're this super military power. Well, they've had time. They've had a lot of time.
Yeah.
And we've just.
I really thought we could do a thing like after George W. Bush and like plead insanity, basically, as a country to the world, and say like, no, that we didn't mean any of that. We're going to hold this person accountable. This was horrible. We attacked the country and killed 1 million people for no reason. And maybe like rebuilt things in a way, but that never happened.
Obama was so smooth; he smoothed it all over, and then kept us in those wars and expanded them. Just so everyone remembers.
Yeah, sang a little lullaby, and everybody went to sleep.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, well, now it's a Democratic war, so I am okay with it. And that's sort of the like. What would someone say? If we were here, we'd be here with Kamala in the same way, except she would have gone to Congress and everyone would have supported it.
Yeah, she was speaking out that Iran is our biggest enemy. Before the election too. So it's not like she had like she had a more empathetic, same ideology.
Oh, someone had the link with it. Nina Turner put it up, being like, "We're the strongest, most deadly military force in the world," or whatever she said. She sounded just like Trump. She was trying to sound like Trump. She was trying to appeal to Trump's voters. They were literally trying to appeal to Trump's voters. So people be like, "Oh, they were literally using Trump language to appeal to Trump voters." It blew up like horribly which I guess is really a poor word choice now.
Yeah, they're looking for the moderate Trump voter.
Ugh.
Which there's no such thing as.
Yeah, man, that's such a 2016 with Chuck Schumer. For every metropolitan voter we lose in Pennsylvania, we gain 2 rural voters in the other parts of the state. And I'll tell you what, I went to all over rural Pennsylvania. Yeah, we didn't find a lot of not Trump supporters. I knew Trump was going to win when I was in Pennsylvania because they were like, someone was painting all the barns with Trump stuff. All the barns had huge hand-painted Trump signs. And I was like, this is bad. This is super, super bad.
The writing on the wall. Literally.
Oh my God, Jesse. I had my mic muted when you said that because it's blowing my nose. And let me tell you, that joke has legs. The writing was on the wall, several walls, all the walls. Yeah, it was not a good feeling. I was like, oh crap, here we go. But yeah, no, it's a tough time. It's hard to stay positive. I mean, Vinay Prasad leaving is a slight glimmer of hope, but I'm sure whoever they put in will be worse. Measles outbreaks, by the way, still going on. So if you're out here criticizing people about masking, maybe you might want to rethink that because I can't believe I saw a post someone be like, "It's been 6 years. Get over it." And you're like, it's been 6 years. Why haven't you learned anything yet? You know what I mean? You don't have to like go full on Papper like Terry does, but you could do like just a basic mask protection. I don't know. It's like people don't realize they spit when they talk. Like just that alone is enough to be like, oh, so I'm wearing a spit catcher on my face, and I'm like, well, you could be a neater speaker if you. If you wanted to be. But yeah, actually, yes, it is. No, but masking is super important, and people saying that it's not are wrong. It's the most important mask is the one you get someone to wear. I think that's another thing too. We actually here on this show a couple years ago really helped frame the talking point of the N95 plus, because the idea was it was an N95 or greater, and we were thinking about the ways to say it the quickest on social media, and then we came up with the N95 plus sign, and that was like a thing we did here on this show. We actually like part of that retroactive grant that we got. So we were, so that's really important. But at the end of the day, as good as it is to upgrade if you can for more protections, like the best mask you can get someone to wear is the one you can get them to wear. So like whatever you can get on somebody so that they'll be a little more protected is a good thing. That's not always popular with some folks, but that's, I feel like we're like trying to gain ground. And I feel like setting ultimatums on people that may not be reachable is only a way to lose ground. Just a thought. So, I want to thank everyone for listening here tonight and being present with us. We are going to continue on Tuesdays and Thursdays talking about what's going on. Terry had to dip out because it's just too much for her. She's and I feel like this is where we are. My wife was crying earlier today. Like it's bad out there, and if you feel bad about what's happening, what's going on, that's okay. We need to channel it into these primaries and electing people who are gonna like actually fight in Congress. And like we saw, so there's this idea we saw with there's this idea called rotating villain. And rotating villain is that the Democrats always have just enough votes to shoot down whatever the thing is. Just enough people will flip. Well, we gotta get rid of all those people. We need to give a cushion so that there's too many to do that. If it's a narrow window, people with a lot of influence can come in and influence because they have influence. But that only works like if it's tight. If it's going to be a 50-50, progressives are going to lose because the bad people are willing to lie, cheat, and steal to get over the line. So in order for progressives who are not willing to lie, cheat, and steal to finish the job, in order for them to do that, they have to have a good window. You got to have a good space with a nice solid win so that they can't go around and like twist and manipulate and pay off or do whatever that they might do to push themselves over the edge. So you need that buffer room, and you need more people. We need more, and the pandemic really set back the plans for electing people. But now it's shown. Here we are in an illegal war. Like I even think the whole Iran war powers thing was so totally ridiculous because they were trying to take away war powers that he doesn't have in the first place.
You should have to go to Congress.
Yeah, you should have had to go to Congress in the first place. And so this whole idea that like we were going to do passive powers so that he couldn't have powers for powers that he doesn't have doesn't make any sense. And you're like, well, he obviously has the power because he's doing it. And you're like, no, this is the type of stuff you impeach people for. This is what impeachment is in place to fix, to come in and be like, no, this is outside of the realm of your job. And you remove the person. And it's just, to do that requires a certain amount of votes in the different places. It can totally happen.
Mm-hmm.
You're just not going to do it with Republicans pulling any strings. There has to be enough Democrats in both houses to do it, and they have to be the right Democrats. And so people be like, oh, Democrats can't do anything because these 4 people voted the wrong way. And you're like, 4 people voting the wrong way is not the other 150 that voted the right way. And like, well, we will push that envelope and get there and figure out if that's what they'll do. And then if they will, then you use that with the public to build more support for challengers with them. And you're like, but that'll be too slow. And you're like, too bad. It's the only thing we can do.
Yeah. And I think even now where we will say to ourselves, like, there's the math doesn't add up. Like, we just don't have the votes for something. Like the answer that we want to happen through votes is just mathematically impossible. I still think there's value in pushing things the way that we want them to go now. Whether it's pushing the conversation in that direction or pushing these politicians in that direction. Like Hakeem Jeffries saying he's going to cross the bridge when he gets to it as far as more funding for Trump. It's like, no, that answer is not good enough. Right. The answer is no, you do not fund an illegal war. And if they don't have the votes to actually pull it off, try it, do it. But I feel like we still need to push. I think there's still value in that.
I'm not a big fan of the term pushing people left, because I feel like, they always say you can't push their donors left. I'm not a big fan of pushing
in
left.
The correct direction.
But I feel like what you're talking about is like, I feel like it comes down to like, there's a passive approach and a direct approach. And I feel like We need a more direct, aggressive approach to, if you do want to push a candidate direction, you don't do it like casually and like expect them to do the right thing. Like I always feel like so much of like traditional pushing left is like, well, we'll just show him how bad it's hurting us, and he won't want us to be hurt anymore, and then it'll all work out. And you're like, okay,
No.
that's not how. They don't give a fuck about you.
We're going to vote you out.
Yeah, you got to vote them out. You got to challenge them. You got to support their primary. And you have no idea how much these people are afraid of being primaried, because I have tried to primary a few of them, and when I meet them and they find out that I tried and working with whatever, they don't like it. They don't like it at all, because they're like, "Why are you challenging my job whatsoever?" And I'm like, "You're doing a bad job."
You need to know that people hate the position they're taking.
Right. And that there will be repercussions, because if there's no repercussions, then why does it matter? And so that's sort of like, you have to figure out how to create repercussions, and the best way to do that is to go after their job. So that's the thing I think people forget about politicians. They kind of seem like these like anointed holy positions, but they're just people working in a job.
I want to keep it. Yep.
They want all the kickbacks and the things and the power and the money and the healthcare and all the things that come with it. And
Per diem to walk around and get lunch, like you were talking about the other.
the per diem for lunch, yeah. It's crazy how like they get more per diem per lunch than people on food stamps get to eat all meals all day, like a week or something. I can't remember what the number was, but it's pretty bad. So I mean, there's a lot of things to be outraged by. You want to try to be upbeat and positive, but whatever you can, but that's getting progressively harder. I hope that there's just I don't know. I'd like to see more pushback from places like Spain and other places, like to like not let us use their things and sort of constrict. I just feel like it's just going to turn into more toxicity from Trump. Now, was he cutting all trade with Spain? Which, I mean, that sounds pretty World War-ish, you know what I mean? It's like we're now cutting out who can do it. If you won't work with us, you're against us kind of vibe. I mean, that's sort of...
You know what, though? It did seem like he kind of backed off the Greenland thing.
Yeah, because he realized Greenland is much smaller than it actually is. It only has like 60,000 people on it, and it's made mostly of ice. He basically fell for the Greenland-Iceland thing.
Right. But also it was pressure, like, by the other countries. Like, they didn't like that. Canada did not like that he was pulling that.
Yeah, well, they shouldn't. I really genuinely still think that they were looking at the maps that show everything all weird. Because I myself caught myself looking at a map being like, wow, Greenland is so big. And my wife was like, you're a dumbass. Those are done right. And I looked up, I was like, oh, okay, now I see the real size.
They explain it in Mighty Ducks 2. They play against Iceland.
Yeah.
And Iceland explains they're the nicer country. And
Lee, I never watched Mighty Ducks 2 to have it explained to me as a child.
if you had, then you would have known the difference between Greenland and Iceland because they explain it in D2.
Well, I knew that the green one is ice and the ice one is green, and that's why they say them that way. It's to trick, because it's an old thing to trick people to try to siege the wrong island. And so that's why they're named backwards. Or at least that's what I've always been told. She's explaining, apparently I didn't get my historical reference from watching Mighty Ducks 2 when I was a child. And if I had, I wouldn't. If Trump had seen it, though, that might have gone a little while further. That would have been. That might have
Which is
saved
like
a
a
lot of time.
hockey movie, right?
Oh my god, Jesse asked if it's a hockey movie. Yes, it's a hockey movie.
I vaguely remember
I
it.
made a reference. Jesse is too good for this world because I made a reference.
Where have you been, Jesse?
I like very.
Where did you spend like the 80s?
I like really like art films and weird stuff.
I said to him earlier,
Oh, I see.
we first watched Trump play and lose at SimCity. Now we're about to watch them play and lose at Command and Conquer. And he goes, "Is that Sin City? What is Sim City?" And I don't know. Everyone, you're too good for this world, Jesse. Too good for the world. I like where your head was, though. He assumed it was Sin City. It was a Robert Rodriguez movie. Yeah, good movie actually. But no, like where your head's at. But no. Yeah, we've been watching a kid play SimCity poorly this whole time, and now we're going to watch them play Command and Conquer extremely poorly. And I don't want that. I don't want that. Why do we have to? Why does everything they do have to kill people? That's the other thing. Like everything they do seems that the goal is to kill people. And like, I don't know. Is the right wingers been like this the whole time? Right? They've just been like less like directive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course they have.
Yeah, it's not been this out in the open. It's been a lot more covert.
Anyways, yeah, if you don't count it, the cases just disappear. It's like we don't have casualties; we're just not counting them. There's this thing going on about a German hospital. Apparently, it's a stop for soldiers who are wounded when they can finally when they can finally fly, when they're stabilized enough. They go to this hospital in Germany, and apparently they're seeing like a huge turnover of people, and they're hiring like mortuary people to fix bomb damage in bodies and things like that. Like there's some weird stuff going on there. Like they're increasing hiring and stuff. Like they're expecting or are already getting more American casualties, which I've seen a couple of people already being brought off planes. So it's tough. It's tough out there. It's we really need to figure out how we can do more. I think is really what it comes down to. So, like the ICE things, got to get people out of the ICE detention. Or another guy got sent to the CCOT or whatever it's called, the prison in Central America. He's coming out being like, I just got sent here for my tattoos. You know, we're having more and more of these people. We're like discovering that like they're just. It's not.
We're still using tattoos as the system.
Yeah, it's not enough to help one or two people in this
due process.
It's like the whole thing has to be like, I don't even know. I don't know. It's just the scale of the problem that is now gone from like what was happening with ICE and now what is happening with the military and now what is happening with all this other stuff. And like, it's going to be like, I don't think there'll come a time in our lifetime that even if we get rid of Trump and get a new American president, that person is not getting some side eye and like, everything is going to sound like a threat for like a generation, you know, because it's like doing this stuff. It's just everything's going to sound like a threat.
What do you mean by everything's going to sound like a threat?
Because America did this stuff. They like just attacking people they can because they can. You know, we have all the weapons and we have all the stuff.
Other countries?
Yeah, other countries. So like,
okay, I get you.
Like, it'll just seem like a threat no matter what. They're not going to be like building partnerships and trade and rebuilding all this stuff so like we can have a stable world economy once again, which I mean it wasn't great before, but now it's an absolute tatters.
Our word is worth nothing.
Yeah.
But hopefully, like the pleading insanity thing that I was hoping for with Bush Jr.
Yeah. At this rate, what was it, Jesse? At this rate, we're gonna have to change our name from Organizing for a Better Tomorrow to just Organizing for Maybe a Tomorrow, or Organizing for Tomorrow, or.
In case there's tomorrow.
In case there's tomorrow.
Yes.
I would like to. That feels. It feels real. It feels real. But I think I'm going to wrap up here. We started late. It's late. We got some people on the East Coast on our group. So I want to thank everyone for coming in and giving a listen. We're here on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We do have a Discord. Mondays and Thursdays. Thank you, Lee. Mondays and Thursdays. Good to know you're listening. Mondays and Thursdays, we usually try to start around 7 p.m. Pacific. But you can join us on Discord. We will be advocating at ACIP. If you're going to be making a call or thinking like 2 more days on ACIP, will comment. Really make it for pediatric Novavax being back on the table. We need to put eyes on that because we're going to be back on COVID approvals and COVID stuff in a couple of months. And if there's any chance that stuff comes to the table to be looked at, it would happen. It would start happening now. So I'm really hoping it'll be in the next, I hate to say this, it'll be in the next year. It should be one way or another, but it could be this season or it could be next season. And I really, 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 really want it to be this season. So hopefully all those studies are happening. And we're moving forward. So that's it. That's all I got. Jesse, you want to say anything? Donna, you got anything you want to correct me on real fast? Is there anything before we get out of here?
You're good.
Oh, that's all. That felt
well,
bad.
I mean, aside from it's nuclear, not nuclear.
Nuclear.
I keep doing that. I keep doing that.
Both of you.
Nuclear. Yeah, well, you know what? I feel like whenever we're talking about like Trump's idiot minds, you say nuclear, and then when you're talking about the real stuff, it's nuclear. Like you're trying to
Nuclear.
Yeah, it's nuclear. Like nuclear.
Yeah.
Not nuclear. Well, yeah. But let's make a list of things I pronounce wrong, and we'll just start fixing them one by one. Oh, we're doing that. We're doing that right now. Okay, cool. Well, on
You
that
can
note,
get a nickel for that, and also for illegitimate each time.
hey, at least I didn't keep saying. What was I saying? I was saying Iran wrong. Iran. She's like, it's Iran, not Iran, and I'm like, well, I mean, we're gonna be saying that word a lot, so we'll get a lot of practice. All right, folks, that's it. We'll be back later in the week. Hopefully, we'll have some good news to report. I'm not optimistic, but we will be. Public comment closes on like midnight or like 9 p.m. whatever Pacific on the 12th. So if you're gonna make ACIP comments and you're hearing this, you got a couple of days to make it. I'll probably put something out with the new presentation I did. So that's it. We're out of here. Thank you, everyone. Try to keep it together. If you need help, call someone. Please, just don't suffer silently. Make someone else suffer with you. So, but seriously, it's a tough time, and we need to